Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to the Walter Strong YouTube channel. I'm your host, Walter Strong. The goal of this channel is to help you discover God's purpose for your life. And so tonight we're having a special Friday night huddle, talking about a very important topic that we're going to be discussing. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but though we celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I believe it's also important for us to be able to recognize that October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I have some special guests coming on tonight. One of them has already joined me on the huddle on this special Friday night. So I want to introduce a returning guest who has been on the huddle on Saturday morning, who's joining us, Mr. Kenny R. Hampton, and also my very special niece from Detroit. I got two other special nieces, but I've had one of them come and join me. So give me 1 second as I let her in. Miss LaDeja Strong from Detroit, Michigan, and Mr. Kenny R. Hampton, who's getting his video on. The author of The Underdog Mentality. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming on and lending your voice to the discussion tonight. So I'll start with ladies first. LaDeja, introduce yourself to our viewers on the huddle and where you're from and what you're doing as an entrepreneur.
Hello, everyone. Well, I am LaDeja. I am Walter's niece. I am from Detroit, Michigan, and I am the owner of Strosley Specialty Banana Pudding. So I make banana pudding. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Mr. Hampton the third, how we doing, sir? Tell our returning guests what you've been up to and what's going on and what we're doing with the underdog mentality.
Oh, well, first I would like to just say thank you for another opportunity to come and join you. You've done an incredible job being very consistent and committed to your audience. You're feeding us weekly, so I commend you for that. I'm Kenny R. Hampton, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. I now live in Columbus, Ohio. And yes, I'm the author of The Underdog Mentality, Keys to Defeating Life's Giants. And things have been going great. And I've actually been working a lot closer with this demographic that we're talking about tonight, domestic violence. I've had the pleasure of the last couple of months serving a local group here in Columbus, Ohio, with some domestic violence offenders, and they're going through their program in order for them to receive enough hours for them to be released from the program so that they can prove that, hey, they're no longer violent. And we walked them through the underdog mentality, and it's just been a blessing to hear and see the results that are taking place in their lives, where they're making some significant strides and they're better because of the experience. So it's truly a blessing, and I'm excited to have some conversation on this topic tonight.
All right. So let's get into it. Let's hike this ball here and get this game started. So Ken, let me ask you the first question, since it sounds like you're working with the men from this perspective where they end up unfortunately falling into the trap where they're committing the act of domestic violence, correct?
Yes, that is correct. They've already had a case. Some of them, if not most of them, have already experienced some jail time. And they're now on the other side of that experience. They're learning a lot of the techniques. They're learning a lot of the behaviors that they did not even know they were tapping into, power and control will, and using male privilege and stonewalling and just doing things that it's sad to say that it's like a generational curse that they're like, well, I didn't know. Like, this is how my uncle behaved. This is how my dad behaved. This is how I saw men treat women. And to help them see, no, that's not how love is displayed, has really been life-changing. And it's actually helped me personally in my own marriage. You know, Rolanda and I will be celebrating 13 years in November of this year. And for me to like learn some of the things that yes, it may not be physical, but emotional and verbal, like those are some weapons that we can use that are sometimes more detrimental than physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been really, really impactful on both ends for us to be able to just see how this thing, how serious the topic of domestic violence really is.
Gotcha. So, LaDeja, what can we do as men to help women who've gone through abusive relationships and they've experienced pain not only emotionally but physically? What can we as do as men, as Kenny said, in helping other men to help women to take their pain and to develop it into a platform where they can be a voice to other women? You know, what are the things that women need from men like me and Kenny and those that are in the program?
Well, I definitely think it is great, Kenny, that you are in that support group or that organization, helping men out. And I would definitely encourage men to do that as well. And even if men could even go out to the domestic violence support groups that women go to, just to see,
Mm.
hear the stories that these women, go through or they have experienced. So that would be a great thing to do for men to really understand domestic violence and why it's wrong. So I think
Mhm.
that would be great if men actually could enter those groups. Yeah.
That's an excellent idea.
Go ahead, Kenny. You want to elaborate on it as men are kind of rebuilding the walls of their lives and they're repairing the gates of their souls. You know, at what point does a man need to get to that stage where he can say, okay, I can be able to contribute to those types of discussions with women? I remember in my church when an elder was first starting out a program like that, and she had been inviting me to come, and I just didn't get around to come. And then when I finally did, she got some feedback from by some of the women in the audience that they were not ready for me being in that room with them. And
Mm.
so I said, oh, okay, no problem. I'm here to support you in any way, but when you're ready for me to come back or lead any type of support, I'm willing. But what do we have to do to kind of get ourselves so that when we come in that room, they don't see that individual with that view of hurt and pain?
So I would definitely say that we have to be sensitive to the womb, sensitive to the idea that someone is hurting, and there's a high level of pain. One thing that I'll never forget when I was working with this group is that when they check in, they always have to say their name and their victim's name. And I would hear those victims' names, and sometimes I would cringe because I have a daughter, and I have a sister and a mother, and it's really tough to hear these names over and over being said week in and week out, because those are some real serious situations. Like we're not talking about hypothetical situations. We're talking about experiences where relationships are broken, homes are destroyed, and these
Mhm.
men are trying their best to, like you said, rebuild those walls. But it's literally going to take us being sensitive. Like LaDeja said something that was very, in my opinion, powerful, because I'm hearing it only from the male perspective, but it would really be impactful to hear it from the female, from the victim, and hear it from her mouth what she went through, and to kind of have her not just tell her story, but to show her story, hearing some of those details. Like
Mhm.
that's something that I don't think the women are the true underdogs for sure. I was talking to
Yeah.
the men, telling them they're underdogs because society is saying you're going to be a repeated offender, like you're
Right.
going
Right.
back to prison. And I'm telling them, no, you're not. You can change your life. But for these women, like it's that's a giant in their lives to really overcome the physical hurt and then overcome the emotional and try to repair their lives. But I would come in there and I would say, listen, you have an incredible opportunity to show someone else how strong you really are, because these women are some of the strongest women that we'll ever meet. Because
Mhm.
if you can overcome something like this, then there's not much in your path that you can't say, you know what, I'll find a way to get through this.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. LaDeja, let me ask you this follow-up question. How does a woman pull the courage to say, I'm ready now to get out of this abusive relationship, especially when children are involved? And then there and that, because it's almost like literally a soul tie she has to break herself from. How does she go through that process to get that courage to say enough is enough?
You know what? So I would honestly say the woman has to think about herself as well. And women are so quick to think about their children and other people, but we have to think about ourselves as well. We have to be, we want to be happy. We want to live a life. And, you know, the women who are, going through domestic violence or who have gone through domestic violence, they have to think about themselves because no woman should be going through that. So when they put themselves first, I believe they have that courage. Then they may have to have a push or a support group. I know my mom was in a support group, and that definitely helped her and encouraged her to make sure she could, move on from that relationship.
Okay. Let me pose the question this way to you, Ken. We probably, if you've seen enough with Jennifer Lopez, and there's that gentleman that kind of helps and trains her for the confrontation. But how does underdog mentality help to arm and to train the women so that they can face the giants, and not from a physical confrontation standpoint, but to say enough is enough, and God didn't put me in this situation to be in an abusive relationship? How does the underdog mentality help equip and arm our sisters that are in those situations?
Well, just simply believing that you, number one, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, because during that moment in time, you're broken, you're hurting, you are at your weakest probably that you've ever been in your life. And to be in that position, the only source of strength that you have at that time is to just lean on the fact that God will never leave you and he'll never forsake you. So if you hold on to that, then you can stand before that giant and you can declare victory boldly. And you can say, yeah, I might be in a retreat right now. Yes, my life has been on pause, or my life has been set back. But this is an opportunity for her to use it as a stepping stone and not a stumbling block in her life, because some other individual is going to need to hear her story. And once she's at a place where she's comfortable telling her story, that she'll cross paths with the right person. And that individual, her life will never be the same, because she's going to say, I was looking for somebody who I can just share my story with and my hurt with. And you were the one that has the right words for me to hear at this time. And trusting and believing that it's all working together for her good. I know that that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes for all of us. But like I always say, you and I and Deja, we're not going to just sit back and drink a cup of flour, right? That's disgusting. You'll never do that. But you will enjoy a slice of cake, right? Right. That flour is an important ingredient in that cake. But mixed together, work together within the other ingredients, it's a beautiful tasting thing. And I would sow that into her to let her know that, listen, you may be down right now, but you're not out. And it's all working together for your good. The highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the hurts, and all the happiness, it's all working together for your good.
All right now. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion tonight on this special Friday night huddle, where we're raising the awareness of why we want to encourage women and encourage families that, our sisters are queens, and we are going to raise a voice against domestic violence, just like we're taking a stance to say, Cancer, you can't have our mother. Cancer, you can't have our sister. Cancer, you can't have our auntie. Cancer, you can't have our grandmother. Cancer, you can't have another woman. And we understand cancer can affect men, but in October, we rally together as a nation. But tonight we're rallying to get together as the Hamptons and the Strong, saying you're not gonna have our sisters when it comes to domestic violence. You're not gonna have our mothers, and you're not gonna have them. And even if they're in a place of brokenness, all things work together for the good of those that love God and are called according to His purpose. LaDeja, at what point does and maybe if you're comfortable in sharing about Renee in terms, how does that support group really helped her to be able to rebuild her life and to become the strong woman? Because I don't believe God does anything by accident. For her to have the maiden name of Strong, it was important. It was important to show her that you can be strong and you can rise up from this. Take me to that to some of those times where she says, I need to get involved with a support group that's going to help me and my family move forward.
So when she started when she started being involved in a support group, I seen the evolution of her. It was a sisterhood. And also she basically just wanted to evolve. She always, or this is when she started, I should say, she started to have a love for butterflies when she started entering the domestic violence organization. And she always say, I'm involved into a beautiful butterfly. I'm like, okay, yeah, I love it. And, I seen that group not only helped her, because of course some women, they're embarrassed or they don't want to tell their business, but she actually took it upon herself to become a domestic violence advocate. So that group helped her, and then she was able to help other women as well.
Interesting. Now, let me see if I can get this to work. Yeah, bear with me 1 second. Let me click this. We're doing our broadcast now on StreamYards, so we've graduated and moved. Let's see if I get this right. So bear with me. Okay, see that share. Where are you? Share screen. There we go. So we want to try to go ahead. This. I want to show a few pictures. And there we go. And share. Boom. All right. So let's see if this pops up. Okay, perfect. So I got Ken, I got LaDeja. So can you guys see these pictures I got here?
Yeah. That's perfect. Family right there.
That's family. That's family. So talk to me about that community and that sisterhood and how she took what she was learning to say, now I'm going to bring it home, LaDeja, to my own sisters.
Yeah, so my mom was very big on family, and she wanted to get to know her family. We didn't really know much of the Strong side or Strong and Hampton side. So she was very big on that. And so when she found her cousins, or our cousins, they had this cousin group. They would always meet. Would say probably every Saturday. They would try to meet every Saturday. They either go out to eat or go to the movies. And so she learned that from the domestic violence group because they always met up once a week. And it's good to have that bond, and it grows stronger and stronger. Of course, if you continue to grow and be around the people that you love. So.
Gotcha. And then here we got a picture of her here in Washington. She's on Capitol Hill. And I'm when I remember when you sent me this picture, it helped me to understand that she was so passionate about being a domestic violence advocate. Before she went home to be a lawyer, she was determined to say that I'm not going to be an echo, but my voice is going to ring loud, not just in my local area, not just in my family, but on the steps of Capitol Hill. And I think that's a true example where you can, like Kenny was saying, you may be an underdog today through the pain and the suffering that you're going through, but God is able to make you a champion so that you have a platform that Washington politicians have to listen to what's going on. And then talk to us about, after her going home with before going home with the Lord, and then how the organization wanted to recognize her work and why it's important for us to recognize other women that are doing the same type of work.
I actually have that book right now. I was going to show it. But yes, that book is very sweet. You know, I don't want to get emotional, but just to honor her, just to honor and show the things that she did, and really, she gained the courage to speak against domestic violence. Like I said before, you know, some women, and especially for my mom, that wasn't something that she wanted to speak on, but that group that she was in definitely made her speak against it, and it encouraged her, made her a better woman, even stronger. And it was just really great to see her stand for something that she know that she could be proud of.
Gotcha. Ken, did you want to make a few comments on in terms of what we kind of shared so far regarding, you know, how Renee and even how the underdog mentality is helping men to, because I believe men's voice also need to be heard on the steps of Capitol Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, Renee is a true example of what servant leadership is all about. It's not about us; it's about others. And she is just an incredible example of exactly what servant leadership is all about. For her to decide to no longer be silent, and for her to be vulnerable and transparent. I share that in the underdog mentality, that our transparency is the key to someone else's freedom, because other people are unlocked from the chains of bondage and chains of domestic violence, or mental illness, when we open up our mouths and give people a glimpse at what we're going through and how we have overcome some of these things. And for her to take it as far as standing on the steps of Capitol Hill, that's what true leadership is all about. And the men need to see that as well, because if they found a way to overcome and to start the rebuilding process of their lives, and the rekindling of some relationships, of the things that they have have done with their families, then I would encourage the men to take that same path of action that Renee took, and be advocates, stand up and let others know, get vulnerable, because people are looking for answers every single day. And if we can just think less of ourselves and more of others, then this world will be a much better place. And Renee, I mean, she did an incredible job, and a phenomenal job of thinking less of herself. And that's something that I would share with any group that I speak to, because you just don't realize that's what true legacy is simply all about. Because we'll talk about her till the end of time, because of what she did.
Right, exactly. And so, again, as we celebrate the month of October, we can't forget Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I realize, funds and finances and people have agendas on why they want to push things, and sometimes it's marketing and advertising for a lot of organizations, but I believe it starts at the grassroots. It starts like with individuals like me and you, especially now when we have the tools like social media and YouTube and Facebook, and and encouraging individuals to, hey, look, I need you to watch this material, share this with this sister, share this with this mother, share this with this father, share this with this group that I'm a part of, so that they can see how their lives can be changed. Let me ask you this other question, my dear. How has Renee's life, especially not just being a strong mother and a loyal sister, but how has her life in this area of domestic violence really shaped you to be able to move her message and her voice to go forward in the generations to come?
I would say, me seeing the evolution, I would say, her evolution. She definitely has been a role model to me just to see her overcome the obstacles that she was going through,
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a sense to say, you know what? I know that I can be a good woman. I could be a better woman. Or, you know, when I was younger, I want to be that woman. I wanted to be like my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, women are known to be strong, but, you know, we do have our vulnerable. Oh, there you go.
There is that.
Hey, the iPhone kicked me out.
It's all right. So you know when it's good. Be like, nah, I need to go back for seconds. This is not stop me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, LaDeja.
So yeah, just seeing again, seeing her evolve. She is a role model. She was a role model to me, and everything. My mom was she was just such a genuine, loving person, and she cared about people so much. You know, she was supportive. She put all her time, and even though if you don't have money, it's all about giving that time to people because you can't take time back. So just seeing her evolve, it just really has molded me and shaped me to the one that I am now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, Ken, how long have you been working with the group with the men, and what's some of the goals that you've kind of instilled, put before them to say, hey, look, I realize this is not going to be a process because your character and your reputation has kind of been stained here. So trust has been broken. It's going to take some time. It may even take years before an individual may be comfortable to come back in your presence. What's some of the goals and the expectations you've been kind of working with the men in the program?
Well, I was privileged enough to work with this group for 2 months. We met weekly. We're actually going to kick off another round of classes with them next month. And a couple of the things that they really, really echoed that they appreciated the most coming out of, because we literally just walked through the underdog mentality. We worked on a chapter a week, and it really made an impact on their lives. But they got from it the acronyms and some of the corny things that I would throw at them. So like GOOYOW, GOOYOW is an acronym that I mean, God gave it to me because I'm like, that sounds so corny, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it. But it's funny because it's get out of your own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was able to like show them how they were in their own way, and that's what caused some of them, if not all of them, to be in the position that they're in right now today, where, for example, if his name was John, so you think that you have this privilege to talk to this woman any kind of way because you're a male, but full blown, well, that's very disrespectful. And if it was your sister, would you be okay with your sister reporting back to you that some individual that she's involved with is treating her this way? It's probably safe to say that you wouldn't be happy with that young man, would you? No, right. You wouldn't. And so they were able to identify how they literally was keeping themselves from being the best version of themselves. Another one was getting to the door. So we celebrated every single time that we met together, the fact that they just made it to the door. Because let's just be honest, they don't have to go through the program. Now, if they want to stay out of prison, then or get off of parole or probation, then yes, then you have to do these things to meet these requirements. But if you don't care to do that, and you don't care about your life, you don't have to get to the door. But they were getting to the door, and that's so much bigger than just showing up to your training class. But it was more so about, are you being present when you need to be present? So when your family is looking for you to be in attendance for certain things, if you're supposed to be at work on time, are you getting to the door? Are you muscling through the challenges and the distractions that are going to be in your path, regardless of how disciplined you are? You're going to have those thoughts. And when that happens, get out of your own way and tell yourself, no, I am going to be victorious in this situation. Because they have parole officers that are looking, or probation officers that are looking at them across the desk like, it's just a matter of time for you to either reoffend or for you to just not hold up your end of the bargain with this program. And then I'll have an opportunity to send you right back to where they think you belong. So getting them to realize, listen, you have an opportunity, since you're on this side of the situation, you have an opportunity to to do something great with your life, don't blow it. And to receive the feedback that I've received from these young men and older men, that they've been helped by the things that we worked on, and they're getting to the door and they're getting out of their own way, it really has made a big impact on my life personally, because I did not seek out this demographic. I mentor and I coach athletes. And lo and behold, I'm being asked to do this. However, athletes deal with some of these issues too.
Yes. Yes.
So it all, again,
it all works together. Yes, sir. Romans 8:28. It all works together.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what? It's amazing, by you being a football player, it here, and I'm not trying to be a prophet. This is not a prophet show. Here you end up having an opportunity to speak to a Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Months from now, years from now. You know, talk to me about how this class is. God is literally setting you up to meet the Ray Rices in the future.
Yeah, it's been incredible, because to go after something and think that I got it all mapped out the way that I think God is calling me to execute it, as far as a plan that He has for me right now, and for this to kind of, in my opinion, cause me to pivot a little. I know that He's definitely setting me up for something great with learning the things that I'm learning, because it's now at a point where I'm working with this organization and we're trying to put together a curriculum that kind of meshes in some of the things that are in the underdog mentality, to help these men understand that, yes, you are an underdog, but you are transitioning to a favorite, where you're going to be able to look back and say, that was just a chapter of my life, a chapter in my story, but it wasn't the end of my story. So that's what I would love to one day have a conversation with a Ray Rice, or stand before an organization, an athletic group, and let them know, listen, you know, some of us in this room, we either will cross this path of domestic violence, or we've already been there and it's a part of our story. But I'm trusting and believing that you're going to be able to one day make an impact and sow back into someone else, so that they can have an opportunity to use that situation as a stepping stone and not a stumbling block.
Gotcha.
Great. Awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion, I want to encourage you to click the subscribe button, whether if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, and we are now on Periscope. Let Dad know. StreamYard, we are now on Periscope now. Live streaming on 3 different platforms. We're not looking at how many viewers or subscribers. We just getting the content out, and we just gonna let God get the content to the people who need it to be getting to. LaDeja, let me ask you this question: as men start to get their lives restored and repaired, from the woman's perspective, how does the support help our sisters, our queens, to understand now that the relationship may not be able to be mended, and they may have to now go their separate ways, but she can now see him as truly as a changed man, as a man who's in progress still, but she doesn't see him from the perspective with eyes of pain and anger and bitterness. What is it that these organizations are really helping individuals like Renee when she was here with us, and the Renees today?
So I would say, well, for the man, if the man really wants to change, that, and if the man really wants to change, and the woman does see that, and they're actually doing it, that really shows that man does not want to be that same guy that he was before, whether it was because of generational curses or his anger issues. When a woman sees a man take action of changing himself for the better or for the good, that's really what really matters. And they may not, go back together or whatever the case may be, but she would have that feeling, or she would know that he really wants to be a better person. And I think that would be something that women should definitely want men to do, to change, if they are doing those type of acts.
Gotcha. Especially when the children are involved, and to show that he's trustworthy, that he can be trusted with the mantle of fatherhood. He can be trusted, and the only way he's going to be trusted is by him demonstrating that he has changed. And I truly believe, that the Word of God says that when we become born again, a true example of a person who is born again is a changed life. It's a changed life. And no, you're not changed in one day. You're not changed in 30 days, because that same big toe that I had when I accepted Christ 10 years ago, I still got that same bunion now, but the change happened on me. The change happened on me on the inside. And that's what's on the inside is what the woman should be able to say. I can trust you with the mantle of being the father of my children, where you don't have to have someone watching over you in terms of how long you can have visitation rights with them. As we bring this to a close, and this has been great, Ken, I want to thank you for just a short notice and just bringing this great value to this discussion. Oh my goodness, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again. What final words would you say to the brothers that are in these programs, that some of them may watch this video in the days to come, to encourage them to say, hey, just stay in the process and don't allow the outside voices, like you were saying about the parole officers and some of the critics saying you're going to be a repeat offender, you're going to fall back? What encouraging words would you share with them?
Well, this is simply a me versus me situation that these men are in. Literally, if you're on this side of the circumstance, then you have an opportunity. And that's all you really can ask for at this time. So a seed has been planted. Mm-hmm. And if we were to physically go out and plant a seed tomorrow in the soil, it's unrealistic to see any type of results of that seed being planted, 2 days or 3 days, or maybe a week from now, from the planting of that seed. However, if we water that seed daily, and if we keep the weeds away from that seed, something's going to take place. And right now, these men, most times that they miss this opportunity to understand that something's happening beneath the soil in their lives. So what they're doing is sometimes peeking and looking around like, well, wait a minute, I don't see any results. This isn't working. Yes, it is, because one day you're going to reap a harvest, and the harvest will come in such a beautiful form where you'll look and say, I have a better relationship now with my kids, because kids are the relationships between a father or a brother or uncle in a situation with domestic violence. It's definitely taking a blow. It took a hit. But to hear some of these men now say, I have a relationship back with my kids again, or it's starting to get better. Trust me, continue to nurture that seed that you have sown, to decide that you are going to make the rest of your life the best of your life by using that situation simply as a stepping stone. And so while you're waiting on something to come up from that soil, understand you got to celebrate the fact that there's some roots taking root to that soil. And that is going to be the foundation for these men to move on and help other men climb out of the depths and climb out of these pitfalls of being domestic violence offenders. And at the end of the day, you just got to trust and believe that everything that we're going through is simply working together for our good. That's everything to me, because that's the story of my life. And it's a word that I believe that all of us can apply to our lives.
All right, now, LaDeja, what encouraging words would you share to the butterflies that are of today, that are walking into that support group for the first time, and they're saying, okay, I know I need this, but I got that wall? Or what encouraging word would you give them tonight as they would end up watching this video in the days to come?
You know what? That's what a support group is for. You're not the only woman going through that, and you're all going to overcome, domestic violence. So don't worry about being embarrassed. Don't worry about being scared. You are not in it alone. And definitely you are butterflies and you will evolve.
All right. Tell our viewers about what's going on with Strosley, entrepreneur now, businesswoman. Tell our little viewers about it, and if they're in the Detroit, Michigan area, how they can get their hands on some good Strosley banana pudding.
Yes, it is good. My specialty banana pudding. So yes, I am in the Detroit area, Redford, Dearborn, Southfield area. You can definitely go on the website. It is StrosleybP.com. That's spelled STROSLEY, BP.com. Also have a Facebook page, which is Strosley, and Instagram as well. So definitely check it out.
Okay. And is the business able to kind of ship from state to state, or is it pretty much on a local level right now? And if so, where are we at in terms of if I want to get some banana pudding up here in Long Island, New York, or Canton, Columbus, Ohio? What we got to do?
It is local right now, but I am working on it with the shipping process. I want to make sure I find something I can put the pudding in. It would still be, cold and fresh. So I am working on that, but it's local right now.
Okay, so we're gonna have you back in 6 months from now, 2021. You're gonna be able to give us an update on how we can now. And I'm working on, once we get through this coronavirus, if I got to come down there and get me some banana pudding, I got to do what I got to do in quarantine for 14 days.
Oh, you got to do what you got to do.
I want my rock
like
and
this
rock.
might be worth the quarantine.
Exactly. I want my rock and rock Fago soda and me some banana pudding from Strosley.
Yes, definitely.
Can you tell our viewers about where they can find you and what you got coming up with any book promotional tours with the Underdog Mentality?
Yeah, so on all social media platforms, I can be found at Kenny R. Hampton. And also the book itself is available along with Underdog merchandise and other inspirational quotes at KennyRHampton.com. Stay tuned because we're going to be launching some things that have yet to be disclosed in November. So I'm excited about what's coming ahead. It's going to be some exciting things that is really going to impact a lot of lives. And we've also had a lot of organizations reach out to do bulk orders with the book. So we're excited about that. And as the COVID-19 pandemic, as it continues to unfold, we will just continue to adjust our in-person and our virtual events that we would like to have to promote the book. But I will tell you, I definitely got to make me a trip up to Detroit. It's only 3.5 hours. I'm gonna grab some of that banana pudding for sure. That's my favorite dessert.
I got you.
All right. Hey, if you gotten great value out of this discussion, I want to again encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, share this video on your favorite social media and channel. Please be a superhero to a friend on your channel to let them know that this is a discussion you need to hear. Well, we're going to bring this to a close. I want to thank Ken and I want to thank you, LaDeja, for again being a part of the Friday Night Huddle. And for those of you who will see us on Saturday, we will see you. As we close out, I want to thank you again for tuning in. And always remember that many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is God's purpose that you will prevail. You're going to prevail to be not an underdog, but have an underdog mentality where you'll become a champion. And you're going to be a prevailing person who will be a domestic advocate in helping our brothers and sisters. Thanks again for joining us. Good night.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.